Our first guest began his career on Saturday Night Live and went on to star in many beloved blockbuster motion pictures. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Chevy Chase. Nice to have you here.
Good to have you.
There you go.
You know, thank you. Do these glasses make you look heavy?
They look fine. You look fine. Don't worry about a thing.
Thanks. I feel good.
You know, after
a lot of people wonder, you know, what you say, what you whisper to people as they come in.
Right.
You usually greet them there.
Sure.
And I might as well tell them.
Go ahead.
That you always say, try not to make Schaefer look too funny. I don't.
But it never works. Never works.
Every time. That's what it is.
So, Gerald Ford passed away in the spring, I believe. And
really?
In a couple of weeks.
Yes, you're right.
A couple of weeks after that, I was looking through the Saturday Times, I believe, and there was a lovely piece in the op-ed section about Gerald Ford and his life and your relationship with him, written by yourself. And I thought it was a wonderful thing and a very beautifully done.
Thanh you.
Yeah. Tell us about your...
Would you like to know about that experience?
Your friendship with Gerald Ford.
Well, I mean, it wasn't a long-lasting friendship, but... you know, basically, for those of you who were live when I was doing Saturday Night Live, I did takeoffs on Gerald Ford. I mean, I'd fall down, I'd trip, and this and that and the other. This president was, as you know, the best athlete of all the presidents who've been, you know,
played football,
with the exception, of course, George Bush. Who, and excuse me, and. He invited me and Janie, Janie's my wife, he invited us to lunch, and Janie and Betty were, at the time, Betty was very important and big. She had had breast cancer and been very open about it, and she'd also started the Betty Ford Clinic for alcoholism, so she was drunk as a skunk. They were doing a special on CBS on the Betty Ford story, and I was sitting at the table waiting for lunch with the president and ex-president, and my wife and Betty, all we could see was their asses. I mean, their bums. Their, you know, excuse the expression. Why would I say that? And I would go crazy. And I said to the president, Mr. President, maybe we should help with, they're trying to fix the tape machine. They got it working. It's one of these old 2-inch helical scan X660Bs. And I started to stand up, and he took my arm, and he said, no, don't. I'll get electrocuted, and you'll be picked up for murder.
Yeah.
But you know, I mean, he was a very sweet man. I just simply didn't want him to be president at the time, and at that time I was doing Weekend Update on Saturday Night Live. It was the first year, and my only year, by the way, and I was saying such things as, when Wallace was running against Carter for the nomination, such stories as the O'Donoghue one, which is. George Wallace doesn't judge a man according to the color of his skin. He judges him according to the size of his nostrils. And George Wallace was an ugly bigot from the South at the time.
And you portrayed Gerald Ford as the guy who, as you mentioned, falling down. And he didn't care for it in the beginning, but then sort of kind of had to go along with it, didn't he?
Well, yeah. I not only go along with it, but Paul will remember very well. He tried to co-opt us by sending his press secretary, Ron Nesson, as a host on the show.
Nesson, that's correct. Yeah, press secretary, hosting
his
Saturday
press
Night
secretary.
Live.
Yeah.
You go figure.
Yeah, go figure. And
Go ahead.
no. And
Go ahead.
that show, I simply played a scene that I had written with Ron Nesson as my press secretary, and just made Ford look sillier, you know. And eventually, we did it again with Buck Henry. That one got the Emmy for a great show, which is very important to me because you've got like 27 Emmys.
Oh, yeah.
And I have 3. You know, so,
Where is the justice there, for God's sake?
I don't know.
But it's two things. Two things about this
Do you think the
are
applause
interesting.
on a late night show is a little incommensurate with what's actually taking place? It's just two funny guys talking.
Yeah, yeah.
People are, hey! You think it was the debates?
But it was
question. So thanks, Wolf.
It was 30 years ago. Is that right? Has it been 30 years ago since the first year of Saturday Night Live?
Oh gosh, yeah. I was 12.
Wow.
Yeah, it has been.
You left your paper route to go on.
30 years.
And then you were only on, as you mentioned, only on one season. Now, why because the show and yourself received such tremendous acclaim in its first year. Paul, of course, was a part of that as well. Why did you decide that you would leave the show after just 1 year?
Well, Lauren was on the phone continually. In fact, I remember giving him mouth-to-mouth from ODing on the phone.
Really?
I just couldn't get a word in. Yeah. No, the real reason, as it has not been publicized correctly, was a girl. And everybody on the show knew that, particularly Lauren, with whom I shared everything. He's like a brother to me. But there was a girl who lived in Los Angeles who I was infatuated with and wanted to marry. She wouldn't move to New York. And when I say infatuated, I mean I, had an erection every day, all day, just thinking about it. And
wow. Did you?
You do things.
That's just a metaphor. That's a metaphor for what love feels like.
I really shouldn't have said that word.
Did you notify your doctor because you're supposed to?
Let it last.
Are you kidding? We couldn't fit in the same room. Anyway, so, I said to Lauren, she's not going to move. And I'm sorry.
It's all right.
And she said, if I don't come back after 1 year here, and I was the only one with a contract, I'm not going to marry you. I'm going to go out with Warren Beatty and people like that. Mm-hmm. And I went bats, and I really left because of a girl.
Mm. Wow. And you actually married the woman, is that right?
Yes, I did, and it lasted about 9 months.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's not good.
She threw a hot iron at me and various other things, and it was really the wrong choice.
Yeah. Well, but that and many, many more fascinating details about your life and career contained here in the book. And this is an authorized
That
biography.
bio is a pack of lies. And
This one is a pack of lies?
Yes.
Really?
And my apologies to James Leno for the things I said about him, but not to Rosie O'Donnell. What we had was what we had together many years ago.
You and Rosie, really?
Yeah.
Really?
It was a partnership. It was a very tough parting for me.
Okay, well, I'm sorry to hear that. It's I'm Chevy Chase and you're not, and it's in bookstores now. I'm sure it'll be a big success. Chevy, always a pleasure, my friend.
Always good to
Come
see
back
you.
anytime. Chevy Chase, ladies and gentlemen.